do your dirty work. Oh yeah. Wanna do your dirty work no more. I'm a fool to do your dirty work. Do I have to do everything around here, boys? We were supposed to have a pod. We never got one. Unless one's coming today, in which case, I won't apologize for it. Let's get right into it. It's going to be a quick pod. I'm driving to see some customers out at King of Prussia. And I figured I'd talk to my boys for a little bit. Just going to do some best case scenarios, worst case scenarios, and most realistic predictions for the season. Let's start with the champion, the Kensington Stranglers. Let's go best case scenario. They're right back on top. They have the players that do it. I'm going to say best case scenario, a 10-4 regular season finish and a championship. Worst case, Black goes back to his old ways of getting hit with those injuries. 6-8 finish. I can't see him finishing much worse than that, and a missed playoff spot. Let's go to yours truly. Best case scenario, I'll say 7-7. Maybe Christian Watson, Drake London take big steps. David Montgomery maybe benefits from like a Jahmyr Gibbs injury or something like that. And who knows, maybe I'm in the mix. 7-7, first round exit. Worst case scenario is this could be a winless team. This team is that bad. I could not win a single game all season. That is the worst case scenario. And most realistic, which I just realized I forgot to get for Black. Black's most realistic, I'm going to say like 9-5, 3 seed, and we'll see. For me, most realistic's probably like 4-10, really. 4-10. Let's bounce around my division. Let's go to Tom. Tom's best case scenario, everything breaks right for him. I'm going to say 9-5. He wins the division. Worst case scenario, probably 4-10 as well. And most realistic, we're going to go 7-7, and Tom still wins the division with that record. CP, best case scenario, I'm going to go 8-6. Maybe Smitty and Kelsey carry them to the promised land, Not the promised land, but a respectable record. We're going to say 8-6, and he wins the division. That's his best case scenario. Worst case, not winless, but maybe 3-11. And most realistic, I'm going to go 5-9 and missed playoffs. Timmy, best case scenario, I think, is 4-10. Worst case scenario is winless, losing every game by 30+. His team stinks. No offense, Tim. So does mine too. But yeah, your team sucks. And most realistic, I'm going to say 2-12 for Timmy. I'm going to say he definitely misses the playoffs. All right, let's go to Boos. Boosa. Most realistic, let's say best case scenario, 13-1. Boo's got a stacked team. Worst case scenario, I would say he needs a lot of injuries, and he still ends up at like 8-6. But most realistic, I'm gonna go 12-2 for Boost, most realistic, and the first seed in the playoffs. Danny, best case scenario, 11-3. Worst case, maybe like a 6-8 record. You get some injuries, but I think Danny's got a really good team too. And then most realistic, I'm going to say right behind Boost. I'm going to say 10-4. And definitely a playoff team. Let's go to Richie. I'm going to say best case scenario, I'm putting it out here. Richie's year, 14-0. Worst case scenario, he gives up after a few weeks again, and his record is like 5-9. But most realistic, I'm saying 11-3 for Rich. Most realistic, and definitely a playoff team. Who else do we got? Oh, Wacky Boy. Wacky's best case scenario is 10-4. His worst case scenario is probably like 6-8. And most likely, I'm going to go Whack 9-5 and definitely a playoff team. Kevy Kev. Best case scenario is he's looking sexy as hell. Worst case scenario, he's looking sexy as hell. Most realistic, he's looking sexy as hell. But being for real, I'd probably say best case 10-4, worst case 6-8. Pretty solid team from Kev. Most realistic, I'm gonna go 7-7, and I'm gonna say he misses the playoffs. And I gotta double check, but I think that's everybody. And then let's go into my playoff predictions. That last segment was all brought to you in one take. I didn't look at anything, no materials. Just paused it real quick, took a look at the divisions, make sure this makes sense. But here's the playoff predictions. I got the 1 seed division champion, Busa. I got the 2 seed division champion, Richie. I got the 3 seed winner of the worst division of all time, Tom. And then I have 4 seed Danny, followed by 5 seed Black, and then 6 seed Wacky Boy to round it off. And let's get into the playoff matchups. I got 3 seed Tom losing to 6 seed Wacky Boy. Some classic wacky luck. Gets him the W in the playoffs. And sets up a second round matchup for Busa with him. And then I have Black and Danny. I got Black squeaking out a close one, eliminating Danny in the first round, and setting up a Richie matchup. And then that brings us to the divisional round. We got Vinny losing to Wacky. More wacky luck. A great matchup. A lot of beef. A lot of smack talk that week. I'm sure will be talked. Wacky steals one and heads to the championship. Richie and Black. Is it Richie's year? Or does Black get a chance for a repeat? And fuck it. Give me Richie. I got Richie taking down the defending champ. Black with a very honorable title defense. Losing in the semifinals to Richie in a super close game. And that brings us to our championship prediction. Can Wacky add a second to the title case? Or is it actually Richie's year? Let me take a second to ponder this one. Fuck it! Give me Richie! Richie, I'm making the bold prediction. I'm sticking with it. Probably going to shoot myself in the foot, but I'm doing it. Richie wins it all, baby. Let's go, Rich. My team sucks. That's all for the first episode of the podcast. Fuck you guys. Someone else better do the next one. Go Birds.